Hi quilters, welcome back. Today I want to talk to you about sewing Y seams. This is my new pattern, the second in my series called Beyond the Code, and this one's called Grateful Comfort. And it's made up of hexagonal log cabin blocks with another solid block beside it, and you have to use the Y seam technique to sew the rows together. We're going to be using the quilt block layout sheet that's in the pattern, and this shows you how to lay out your blocks in the proper order so that the secondary pattern of the pineapple in conjunction with the solid blocks shows nicely. The first thing you want to do is sew your blocks into rows. And to do that, you'll need to add them together and just sew this seam from here to here, starting at 1/4 of an inch in. That's the trick to the Y seam. You don't sew from end to end. You sew from 1/4 inch in to 1/4 inch in. And I find that it's helpful to pin these so that you have a marking. Put this under your presser foot, lower your needle down through where you inserted your pin. Remove your pin, stitch, back stitch, and go forward at 1/4 of an inch away to where you inserted your second pin. If you need to ease this together so that it fits, that's just fine. Back stitch, snip your thread, and you're sewn together, but this part is left open so that you can accommodate the Y seam. Stop. After you have all 9 of your rows sewn together, then we want to start the Y seam construction. So I'm going to take the beginning of one row and the beginning of the row next to it, and it should all be laid out in the right order, and I'm going to flip it onto here. And this will be the seam that we sew. Again, I'm going to put my pin in just inside the 1/4 of an inch, and the same on the piece next to it. Pin that in place, line up all your edges, and then bring your second pin to this edge, 1/4 of an inch in, and then this goes into the edge that's not sewn, that you left loose. So, looks like this on this side, that on that side, and I'll turn this around and sew it together. Put your needle down where you inserted your pin, remove your pin, sew at 1/4 of an inch, back stitch, sew all the way down to the edge, to the pin where you inserted it. Take your pin out, back stitch, and clip your thread. So that one is sewn. Now I want to sew the next one in line, which is this one right here, and it goes next to this one. So the first thing I'm going to do is pull this out, grab the seam here, that intersection, put my pin through the 1/4 of an inch, come over here and line up this one, and the front and the back will line up together. Put my pin in 1/4 of an inch in and straighten all the seams up. All of your blocks should be trimmed to the 8.5 inch size, so they should match up very nicely. Needle down, stitch, back stitch, sew your seam at 1/4 of an inch. Back stitch when you get to your pin insertion, and break your thread. Okay. If you want to check and make sure that it's lining up, it should look like this. We've sewn here, here, and now we're going to sew here. I'll do one more, and then you're on your own. So I'm going to start with that intersection, Be willing to fiddle with your fabric a little bit. Come over here. Line this one up with the fabric on the underside and put your pin in at 1/4 of an inch. I will admit, this is not the fastest sewing technique. It is the only way to do Y seams. There's not a speedy way that I know of, but it's accurate and it lays beautifully when you're done. And you just have to be patient. Backstitch, clip your thread, and you're ready. So I don't iron my seams in between because it makes them harder to manipulate. When I do go to the ironing board, all of this will lay flat. I will press my seams toward the solid block. On these seams, I'll press in either direction. And I'm just going to work my way down, joining this row to this row in a zigzag pattern until I get to the end, and then I'll add the next row. So, have fun, and I'll see you next time. I'm Jill Therriault, and I approve this message.